art, just confirm if one, you're able to see my presentation, and if where you're at is raining, yeah, cats and dogs, like where I am at. Sandra,
It
just
is
confirm you
definitely raining, but we do see your screen. We can see your screen.
Perfect. So I'm happy and excited because of this webinar. I think it's a first of its kind. We're doing a joint webinar on the SilverBack Awards. And the topic or the conversation we're going to have is how can marketers leverage SilverBack Awards 2023 to showcase extraordinary brand, their own extraordinary brand campaigns. Now, the SilverBack Awards, I think as a marketer, you might be asking yourself, is the SilverBack predominantly an advertising awards? I mean, is SilverBack's only awarding the advertising side of the of what we're doing? I think the answer to that is it's a no. The second edition of the SilverBack Awards is UAA plus UMS. We've come together to do these awards. In the middle there, you're seeing Luris, and I think at some point, Pritesh will come and talk about who Luris are. But our aim is to make sure that these awards can compete globally, and we did a lot of benchmarking. So this year's SilverBack Awards are brought to you by Uganda Advertising Association, the Luris Award, and Uganda Marketers Society. And as such, you'll be able to see the marketing categories that have been earmarked for the UMS members. The ambition we have is to have joint, like one award, a joint awards for the communication industry, partner with anybody and everybody who is doing awards in Uganda, and just, rally together and do a joint awards that, celebrates the communication industry of Uganda. Now, what are the key objectives of the SilverBack Awards? Number one is to uplift the professional standards of marketing and advertising industries in Uganda to global status. And by this, you will see in my next slide, is global status. The key KPI, I think, going forward will be how many marketers have been able to compete or submit in the CIM Global Marketing Excellence Award, because CIM does that. So we want to see Ugandan marketers competing to that. We want to see advertising agencies in Uganda competing in the Luris. So those are the global status that we're talking about. Number two is to create benchmarks for creativity and marketing in the advertising space in Uganda. For those who, I don't know if you believe in the Bible, there's somewhere where they say iron sharpens iron. And I think last year a good benchmark was set. And this year, I know the conversations between clients and their agencies have been enhanced. The idea is to enhance that conversation even further with the subsequent SilverBack Awards that you're going to be doing. The last but not least is to equip and inspire young creative minds and marketers across the country with the right tools and the right knowledge. I'm going to speak to that a little bit further. So earlier on, I talked about benchmarking. We benchmarked with the CIM Global Marketing Excellence Award, where CIM celebrates marketing excellence. And by and large, the marketing categories have been derived from the CIM Global Awards. We've benchmarked with Luris, because Luris has done this I think for 40 years plus. I think Pritesh is going to talk about it. And then we've also benchmarked with what Cannes Lions has been doing over the last, I think this year we're celebrating 6 years. So just going directly into the awards categories, for the advertising and production side, there are several awards. There's film and film crafts, print and print crafts, There's media buying, there's media planning and buying. There's public relations, there's out-of-home and out-of-home crafts. There's digital and digital crafts. There's live events and sponsorship. There's design and design craft. There's radio and radio crafts. So I want to spend a bit of time on the marketing category. Here we have integrated campaign. Now, for the integrated campaign, these are campaigns that have used more than 3 channels, to pass on over its message to, to its, sorry for that, to its consumers. Number 2, there's a social good category. Brands which are, they're not just investing in, they're doing social corporate responsibility, social corporate investments. And so the brands which are doing that, I think they have a category where they can be able to enter. The third category in this market, I think there's a lot of conversations around research. Some brands have embraced research, some brands have not yet embraced research. Now, this is a journey towards making sure most of the brands in Uganda embrace data and insights in order to develop that campaign insights. We have customer experience programs. I know the month of October is the customer month, but then there are brands which have been, tweaking how they are delivering their services, customer care to their customers. So customer experience program is one of the categories. Then there's brand partnership, how brand A, for example, I don't know, Movit and brand B, let's say Airtel, came together and develop a solution that one will have a positive impact to its customers, but also returning a profit to it to both organizations. Then second last is the integrated corporate campaign, the internal corporate campaign. These are internal campaigns. I think over the last 2-3 years, I have seen brands paying a special focus and attention on internal corporate campaigns. And then last but not least is effective creativity. These are campaigns that are done that deliver, yes, on the campaign metrics, but also on the business objectives and the business matrices. Now, you might ask, are agencies allowed to enter into the marketing category? The answer is no. I think the marketing categories are purely reserved for UMS members. So there are other, should I say, categories that we have. We have individual, we're going to celebrate individual people. So we're going to have brand of the year, agency of the year, creative director of the year, copywriter of the year, art director of the year, marketer of the year, lifetime achievement award advertising, and lifetime achievement award in marketing. Then we will have something special for the young SilverBack Awards, the advertising and marketing categories. These are people below the age of 30 years, and they are working in either agencies or they are working in the client side. And they'll be given a brief to turn it around within 24 hours, and the winners will be celebrated at the SilverBack Awards. Then we have public vote. You have the most humorous ad of the year and the most annoying ad of the year. There could be 1 or 2 that we'll be adding, but this is what we've zeroed down so far. So in totality, these are the awards that we have this year that are brought to you by UAA and UMS plus Luris. You might ask, why should I, as a brand, why should I, even, put an effort into this? Number one, I think there's going to be increased visibility and recognition. We've put together a very elaborate PR, post-awards PR and digital plan. We're going to have press releases. We're going to have industry publications. We are going to go on TV. We are going to go on radio. We are going to have Twitter Spaces or X Spaces, IG Live, to just showcase and celebrate these winners. I think the winners, for brands, I think it should be able to translate to, number one, good talent. I think the more you win these awards, the more top talents, want to work for your organization, because in Uganda, we are very competitive. We want to win. We want to stand out. And if your organization is that one of a kind, then I think it's a good place to be able to, one, spot talent, but also just make sure that your employer of choice, talent, wants to work with you. Enhance credibility and reputation through the elaborate PR plan. Number 4 is motivation and recognition for marketing teams. We work all year in, all year out, and there are very many demands, and especially towards the end of the year, all other departments have realized, maybe they delayed briefing marketing, and now is when all the briefs are coming. So I think working in a marketing department is a lot of pressure, and if you're head of marketing, a marketing director, this is an opportunity to be able, number one, to put your best foot forward. Should you win, you're able to recognize your team, but you're able to celebrate as an organization. Then talent exposure. I already spoke into that. So this is a sneak peek into how SilverBack last year was. We had a symposium where we had some of our regulators there. We had UCC here. This time round, we are going to have UCC. We are going to have Ministry of ICT involved with this year SilverBack. We had, we are seeing some brands which are also involved. I think here you're seeing UBL. We're seeing MultiChoice was involved. Ipsos. So the symposium, we're discussing critical matters that affect the advertising industry and the marketing industry. And the gala was this glamorous. I think this year is going to be even glamorous. We had judges, for example, we had Susan Sibirwa as one of our judges and many other judges. And these are some of the winners that we had. This year, we hope we're going to have a lot more winners. Without any further ado, I think I want to hand over the virtual mic back to you, Sandra, for the next speaker. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Frank, for that very detailed overview of the SilverBack Awards. Guests, if you have some comments or questions, feel free to drop them in the chat so that we can pick them up. I like the fact that you mentioned, and I'll particularly highlight the involvement of the Uganda Communications Commission and the Ministry of ICT. And I feel this really gives a lot of credibility to these awards. But before we even start to get into the details of why, or in the questions of why it is crucial to have UCC and the Ministry of ICT, I would like to first invite David to share his submissions, and then Frank, I think that is something I would like for you to elaborate later on. David?
Thank you, Sandra, and good afternoon, everyone. I'll quickly take you to the website for the SilverBack Awards 2023. But just as a reminder, and we'll keep on echoing this, that the clarion call is that please, you have done a bit of grinding. I'll not dwell on the grind, I'll dwell on the glory. So it's time to shine a spotlight on the work that you have put together for yourself, for your brand, across the recent past. So go to our socials, go to our UMS website, go to the UAA website, go to the SilverBack Awards website. All those will be shared in the charts, and familiarize yourself with the categories. I'm sure as a brand, you'll definitely find a place where your brand or your campaign belongs. Would be very happy to celebrate you at the SilverBack Awards Gala on 25th November 2023. So I will take you to the website and quickly walk you through the steps. Give me a second. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen. So when you go to the SilverBack Awards website, this is what it looks like. And all you need to do is to scroll slightly further down. And if you need, a little bit more information, it's all here in terms of who UAA is, who LORIS is, who UMS is, and then the entry overview. You can see the rules. If you want, you can download the rules and interact with them a little bit more with your teams. And then down here are the categories. So feel free to go to either the advertising for the admin, but for a specific case, you'll need to go to the marketing awards and also special awards and individual awards. Yeah, but if you're ready to submit, you'll go here straight and click submit entry. Once you do that, so if you're interacting with the site for the first time, you'll be requested to register. But since I already registered, I can be able to log in straight away. Let me see. Yeah, and once you log in, you'll go straight to the three categories: it's advertising, marketing, and special awards. I think Frank will take us through the special awards in a bit. But for the consumption of the marketers, here are our categories. And the first category is the one that speaks to brand partnerships. So like Frank said, where you feel 2 or 3 brands have come together and put together a very impactful campaign. This is where you submit your entry, or the customer experience program to win the customer experience program of the year. Data and insights-driven campaign of the year, of the SilverBack Awards, effective creativity, integrated campaign, internal corporate campaign, and the social good campaign of the year. So once you click the category, these are some of the fields that you'll be able to see, and the mode of entry. And I request that Frank will shine a little bit of light on that. Is in form of a JPEG for the benefit of the judges, and then an overview video. You'll be required to submit a 2-minute video, maximum 2 minutes, explaining what the campaign was in terms of what was the brief, what was the issue at hand, what were the objectives that you set out to achieve from the word go, what was the strategy, what were the tactics, what was the execution like in terms of campaign timelines or content calendar, whatever it was, and then what were the measurable outputs, all within 2 minutes. And then from there, you can continue and submit your entry and complete the payment. So it's a very interactive and very free-flowing website that you should, if you go to our socials, there will be do-it-yourself videos where you can go back and see how to in terms of how to submit your entries, the do's and don'ts, and some of the frequently asked questions. So yeah, I think that is it from me in terms of the interactivity and the user experience of the SilverBack Awards website. I'll hand over back to you, Sandra, to take us to the next segment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, David. To our dear guests and participants, please feel free to submit your questions, your inquiries in the chat so that we can pick them up. and share with our speakers today. I would like to invite our next speaker, who is Pritesh from Lorries, Africa and Middle East, to take us through what it is they're going to be doing with the SilverBack Awards and why this partnership is also very crucial for both Uganda and Lorries. Over to you, Pritesh.
Thank you so much. Excuse me, still lose my voice. Good afternoon, everyone. So good to be with all of you today. And let me just say how honored we are to be a part of this initiative. I think the SilverBack Awards are fantastic in moving innovation forward, especially across the Ugandan marketing space. To give you a little bit of background, I come from the marketing space. My entire career has been marketing, starting off in organizations such as Procter & Gamble and Reckitt Benckiser. So I understand the interest in how, sorry, let's move this away. I understand the dynamics of marketing and I understand the dynamics of why such initiatives are important. Before I get into that, I think one of the key things I want to highlight is about the Lorries. So if anyone hasn't heard about the Lorries just turned 45 years old this year. We are Africa and Middle East's premier creative brand festival. It is a festival that targets marketers, agencies, and production companies. So we're not targeting only creatives out there. We target the entire value chain of brand communication itself. The other important thing about the Lorries is that we inform global WARC rankings. It is the most prestigious rankings to identify some of the best marketers, some of the best creatives that are out there. And the Lorries is the only award on the African continent that does so. Our sister awards include the likes of things such as D&AD, Cannes Lions, and shows like that as well. But there are only 13 awards in the world that inform the WARC rankings. Lorries is the only one that's available on the African continent. So yeah, so let me take you through what we'll be working on and share a little bit more about this. I also want to, I think at the start, help you understand something really important. And that is that, you know, a lot of people look at awards and they think this is just a lot of people patting themselves on the back and saying what good work they did. It's so much more than that. What you're actually getting through the SilverBack Awards is research through the awards. This is research that allows you to better understand how your work is impacting consumers. The research mechanism that is in place has a number of criteria for us to be able to understand it. So one, in terms of the judging panels, having strong judging panels judge, having to follow the Lorries criteria, which again, as I said, we've been using for 45 years and has proven to be one of the most robust judging criteria in the world, which is why, again, we inform the global WARC rankings. And ultimately, through this process, you better understand whether you're making work that truly impacts the lives and minds of the millions of Ugandans who are out there. So let's get into it. Number one, what I want you to do is start thinking about as we get into this process, as you want to enter, is to think like a judge. And what do we mean when we say think like a judge? It means that we want to think about three key areas that we need to focus on as well. You know, one, and primarily, is innovation. The work that you put out there should be innovative. And now this is where I need to caution you. A lot of people get scared when they hear innovation. They think that my work is not innovative. I cannot do it. Innovation does not mean inventing something new and radically different. What innovation is when you make that little step change, when you constantly improvement. It's about constant improvement of the creative product, of the brand product, of the marketing product that we're putting out there as well. And then execution, ensuring that it's beautifully crafted, and ensuring that it's absolutely relevant out there, relevant to the brand, relevant to the target market, relevant to the chosen medium, whether it's on television or a billboard or whatever. So these are some of the things that the judges will be looking at in your work itself. What are the 6 steps to winning? What are the 6 steps to actually like rising on top of this? Number one is we want to make sure that you've got a great idea. So when looking at your work, ask yourself, is this a great idea? Now, one of the things that you're going to find is you may wrestle with, is this really a great idea? And this is why the SilverBack exists. The SilverBack exists to ensure that marketers out there are better able to understand if the key heart of the ideas that they're actually creating and building campaigns on, building their communication strategy around these ideas, whether these ideas are actually making an impact in the lives of the consumers who they are targeting. So my recommendation is get your work into the process, because what you'll be able to do is get a sense of understanding in terms of how your work fares. If you're a winner, you'll be best in class in being able to show how you can make a difference in the category. If you don't win, you still get valuable insights insight into trying to understand how your work fares versus the winning work out there. But again, if you're not in the process, you don't know if your work is best in class or your work is not, and you don't know how to improve. So start with the great idea, but start by entering that idea into the SilverBack Awards. Second thing is keep it simple. Always focus on the core message whenever you're communicating it. So as you go through the entry process, there's a part where you have to give a little snippet in terms of your work, in terms of what you're actually entering. Remember to always focus on why it was great, why it was relevant, and how you used it and how it actually made a difference. So being able to add all of this data is exceptionally important. Number three, one of the things we always go is don't create work with the sole purpose of winning an award. Like I highlighted at the beginning, this is research. And we never want to be in a case where you go, I'd really think I could actually create something in some of those categories that Frank highlighted earlier. And let me try and create something for that category. No, what you should be focusing on is this relevant and purposeful work that's making a difference in the lives of real consumers out there, because only then will the research data that you get out of there actually have any value. So that's really important. Number four, study the categories and know how to enter. This is so exceptionally important. One of the things you should be doing is registering on the system itself, going on, have a look at the SilverBack system that's hosted on the Luri site. Familiarize yourself with it. Familiarize yourself with past winners, which you have access to the Luri's archive, and some of the new winners. We've just released some new winners, but spend some time really getting to know the categories so that you can enter into the absolute right categories. Number five, a bad presentation can lose your award. So therefore, I go work with your agencies on this. Work with your agencies to ensure that any work that's required, that's actually mandatory, that needs to go in, is work that you can actually ensure that the craft is doing good. So this is like case study films and things like this as well. So make sure that you can properly articulate why your work was great. And then make your stats relevant. You have a wealth of data at your disposal, whether it is sales out data, whether it's market share data, whether it's PR data, whether it's reach data, whatever that data you have at your disposal. Make sure you make this available to the judges so that they can understand that you're making real work that's actually making a difference out there as well. So some other useful tips, rules and eligibility. This is so important. Please make sure you also look at the entry rules document. This is available again on the SilverBack website as you lead into Luri's website. So have a look and make sure your work is eligible to enter. If your agency tries to sneak in references to their work, please ask your agency not to do so. All work is judged anonymously. So we like to know the brand that's doing the work. We do not want to know the agency who did the work. So please, also when entering it, make sure if your agency is doing this for you, that they're not putting any of their references in it. If you have non-English work, please include subtitles. You're going to have a range of judges from lots of different spaces. They may not necessarily understand the languages if it's not in English. So please, English is a good way to understand. Please include subtitles. And then crafting your case. How do you do this? When you're actually putting case studies together, ensure that you adequately explain the issue you'll be solving. And I think this is so important, is that you're doing this work because there's a need in the market. What is that need? Is that need that there was an absolute need for a new flavor profile? Is there a need that a consumer needed a new banking product or financial services product, or they need a new telco product? It's important that you help the judges understand why this piece of communication was created. And that starts off by saying, this is the problem that existed. This is the need was in the market. And this is why we created this piece of communication. Again, explain the solution as much as you can, ensure there's an in-depth understanding of the solution. So how did this piece of creative communication ultimately help you deliver your business needs? Like, why was the solution actually chosen? And then spend time showing how the solution is making a difference. Because in many cases, you will have a wealth of data and you'll have a wealth of material that also shows how, if you ran an activation campaign, how that activation is still ongoing. If you ran a TV campaign, how the TV campaign was out there and then started impacting your sales or your brand equity in terms of the trackers that you may have out there. So include these results. It's very valuable. And back up your claim with actual results. In every case, results, results, results. As I highlighted, this is a research platform for you. While it's really nice that you're going to be able to walk on stage and walk away with that SilverBack Award, in truth, what you'll be able to do is, after the SilverBack Awards are held, to be able to interrogate the results, have a look at it, and better understand how certain cases won versus yours, if you didn't win, and if you won, understanding how yours is making a difference in the market. So include those results. Some of the things I do want to do is to be able to see if this plays. I want to be able to share some case studies. We recently, as recently as last week, held the 45th annual Lurie Awards. We had attendees from over 20 countries around the world who visited the city of Cape Town to be able to celebrate. Countries as diverse as everywhere from obviously Kenya to Nigeria to the USA to Hong Kong to the UK. I mean, people came from around the world to see some of the best work that comes out of the African Middle East region. I have a short period of time just to help you better understand some of the case studies, how they put out there and how people present their work. And again, this is the Luries is obviously we have to do things at a global standard, and we want to get SilverBack at the global standard. Don't let this scare you if you feel that you cannot put something like this in place. Be able to put something where you can explain your case. We will grow together, and we'll grow together with SilverBack to the level. But let me show you on a world-class level and what it takes to be at an award that actually competes, that this is the type of stuff that compete at the Luries, can compete at Cannes, and can compete at other walk-informed awards. So here's the first case.
A class 6 pupil who took her own life last week after she was shamed by her teacher for soiling her school uniform with her menses.
On February 14th, 2023, a sitting senator was thrown out of parliament because she had stained her trousers.
Very inappropriate. It's a lot of shame on this House, the Speaker. Rule the distinguished nominated senator out of order. But I'm asking you to leave so that you go change and come back with a cloth that is not stained. Protect me.
Even amid national and international outrage, no action was taken. So on March 8th, International Women's Day, a small fashion brand in Kenya took a big step by launching Stain Not Shame. Blood red designs placed boldly on women's dresses to challenge people to look at period stains differently. The Stainwear collection transforms every woman who wears these dresses into a medium of change. In the weeks that followed, the Stain Not Shame collection showed up in news, debates, red carpets, concerts, malls, and on the streets, with the most influential Kenyan women and men proudly wearing their stains. Cortex showed their support and joined the conversation. 1 month after the collection launched, this happened.
Would like to applaud and partner with Stain Not Shame campaign. The president of Kenya has put the women's rights agenda at the center of his national agenda. Period shaming in Kenya should be punishable offense and anchored in law.
It will make Kenya the first country in Africa to make period shaming a punishable offense.
So goal winning work at the Luries. Let's look at a few more case studies.
In Lebanon, political oppression, government failure, and a resulting crumbling economy continue to silence defiant voices, either by killing journalists or shutting down dozens of new publications that are believed to be dead and gone forever. An-Nahar newspaper, to uphold the free voice of the press and to honor the death anniversary of its editor-in-chief, Gibran Tuwaini, who had been assassinated for his voice, did something incredibly defiant. A daily edition that within its pages gave space to 6 publications that had forcefully been terminated over the last few years. Each spread displayed a different previously extinct newspaper, now revived. Every word in those spreads was written by the very same journalists that were once at the helm of these papers, free to write whatever they wanted, without fear. Each page was designed and structured true to the original layout and identities of each defunct newspaper. The reborn newspapers were available not only in print, but online and on social as well. The revived newspapers were read again all over Lebanon. Even parliamentarians spoke up about the campaign.
هاي الصحف هي رأس الحربة في مقاومة سياسة كم الأفضل.
اليوم هيدا جزء من الدفاع عن الحرية.
Against intimidation, Al-Nahar's message was clear. The press will never be silenced.
So I can hear somebody's mic's on, so I'm not sure if somebody's got their mic on. I would like to say something.
Like pushing a message out.
Hello? Oh, here we go. Okay, so let's move on.
You can proceed.
So those are just two case. Amazing, thanks, Sonny. Those are just two case studies to share, but you know, not all problems have to be big and have to be this serious. But sometimes you want to solve little ones. Sometimes you just want some creative work. So I'm going to show you in certain categories where you enter film work and how that looks in other categories where you actually enter a activation. So let's have a look at a piece of film first.
My name is Jose. Merci beaucoup. I came to South Africa in 2010 as kit manager, and well, I never left. People have said I have changed football forever because of my tactics. Unorthodox, a little. Voila! Excellent, no? Very good. And the fans, they even give me South African name.
Coach Masibuko, that guy and his formation. Yo.
Formations is tricky.
Yes, coach! Before Coach Mazibuko came along, it was all about 4-4-2, 4-3-3 formations.
Tomorrow, 7-2-1.
He's bringing new things to the game, you know? Different formations, it's a different mindset.
9-0-1! Very good!
Unconventional coach Jose Mazibuko came out of nowhere and continues to dominate.
1-2-7.
1-2-7!
You know, he's certainly been innovative in his approach.
One week I'm a striker.
Are you a defender or a striker? Again, I don't know.
Next week I'm a defender.
9-0-1!
You always need to keep your opponent guessing.
How does he do it?
These three come across and... and my favorite, the 1-1-8.
Win after win, win after win.
Yabona mhlanje ngizokudefeatha nge-super 1-1-8 formation kacoach Mazibuko.
His formations are magic. Just magic.
He could coach in any top league in the world, but insists on staying in South Africa.
Coach Masibuko.
He's a special one, that's for sure.
How do you think he comes up with these unorthodox formations?
Je suppose they'll never know.
208, order 208.
And then the last example of an activation. Let's have a look at this.
Honey, right side up.
No, it's not. That's right side up.
Party people dance to the beat. Party people dance to the beat. Party people dance to the beat. Party people dance to the beat.
No! God, please, no! No!
two-sided reversible bottles. Never again will a drop of Heinz ketchup ever be wasted, ever again. Just bang, reverse it, bang, reverse it, bang, reverse it again.
Okay, you ketchup lovers, there's a new design innovation that could change America's favorite condiment game forever.
A pretty genius product design in the Middle East. It's the ketchup and down. The first ever upside down for easy squeezing.
Apologies, that was not the activation example. This was the design example. So this is an example of some great design that has been done as well, and a whole campaign around the design.
Honey, right side up.
There we go. So something I do want to leave you with is just a quick thought. You know, this was in the drum, where the Loeries informs the drum ranking as well. Just a few days ago, on October 5th, and Sir John Hegarty said, you know, creativity is oxygen for business growth. So why are we holding our breath? And this is something I wanna share with everyone across Uganda right now. You know, creativity is going to be oxygen for your business growth. As marketers, this is one of the ways that we're going to actually make a difference and get consumers to actually buy our products, to buy our services, and to ensure that our businesses are strong and robust. And it starts here with the SilverBack Awards. It starts by putting your great work into the process and allowing the judges to evaluate it so that you can have all of this valuable insight and data to ensure that you can create better creative products, better brand communication, and ultimately get better results for your business. So enter today. You know, your work deserves an opportunity to be recognized and rewarded by the industry. Oops, sorry, that's the wrong date in it. But thank you so much to everyone. And that's it from my side. Sandra, if I can hand over back to you. Thank you.